While British submarines are causing increasing amounts of trouble with our transport routes, the first British battleship, the Zealandia, with her escort, has intercepted one of the outlying forces that was on a naval bombardment mission. The old battleship New York, together with the Brooklyn-class cruiser Philadelphia and the Porter-class destroyer McDougall, are going to have to defend themselves. The New York, obviously one of our oldest battleships, is a very slow ship, all in all. So I'm going to get the Philadelphia and the McDougall to form up. And Philadelphia herself is not torpedo armed, she's a Brooklyn class, but obviously the Porter class McDougall is. We're going to go scouting and see if we can find the New York something to shoot at. RPF is indicating that the British force is moving towards a southerly course, so we might not want to go too far ahead, but I think New York is still on a relatively decent course. Unfortunately, she only does 21 knots. We really need the North Carolina class at this point, but they're almost ready. Most of the ships are on the splitways. Okay, we have spotted the British battleship on the horizon. There is still one of their light cruisers out there. And she is obviously coming in for a fight. Well, we'll see how good the British battleships are. The Japanese ones were not great, but obviously what we want to do now is actually turn around with the Philadelphia. I'm going to actually detach the two of them. We can potentially use McDougall to drop some sneaky torpedoes while Philadelphia is going into a kiting position, trying to lead the British battleship back into the range of New York's guns. Right now the range is, I don't even know what the range is. It's too far away. That's as much as I can tell you. Yeah, we don't even know what the range is. Okay, Philadelphia might have to go get a little closer than that. McDougall is... I don't think they've spotted us just yet. So that means the light cruiser is not scouting. We haven't seen anything. No one's opened fire. So we'll get McDougall a little closer. We'll see if she can get a torpedo run off. And we're going to get Philadelphia at slightly different course just to try and destruct the battleship. And yeah, New York is way off on the horizon, so we'll wait until... I'm not sure if we can get her easily into range. I'm not sure what the British are firing either, so this is all new and questionable. Okay, the battleship has opened up. I'm not sure who she's firing at. I don't know if she's spotted McDougall or if she's spotted the Philadelphia. We'll have to see where the shells are landing. It is actually the destroyer. So we're going to start laying smoke and trying to make ourselves a little harder to hit. The intent is not to actually engage the battleship with these two. The intent is for the destroyer to launch some torpedoes and then to back off and try to get her to follow us. So let's already... change course slightly. Yeah, she is turning to... Is she turning? Yes, she is turning to port. So we'll go for a... she might be shooting at the Philadelphia now, to be honest. And she is not in range of the Philadelphia whatsoever. All right, let's see how far is she away. 12 kilometers from the McDougall. I'm surprised she managed to spot the McDougall at 12 kilometers, but the smoke screen should help. And we will try to lure her into the range of New York's guns, but New York is so far away. She's at 30 kilometers, so we'll have to see what we can do here. But I think she's lost sight of the Philadelphia. At least we're not getting shot at anymore. Let's get Philadelphia to turn and to just try to draw her back into the path of New York's guns. If McDougall is not going to hit with the torpedoes, then New York's guns are our best bet here. Oh, there's the light cruiser. She is... I'm not sure. We've spotted her for a second there. But... okay, McDougal is taking fire again now from the battleship. And potentially also from the light cruiser. So we will... it's a little far for my taste for a torpedo drop. We're at 8 kilometers. But our smoke screen is not going to last forever, and McDougal is now starting to take fire. So we are going to get the torpedo angle on. Try to get a good torpedo solution, and I am going to now turn, because McDougal is the only torpedo armed ship here. And then we'll try to bait the two of them to follow us into the guns of New York. And we'll see if that if that works out, or if we can manage to get the torpedoes away and actually hit something. That would be great as well. Okay, torpedoes launched from the McDougal, so let's get away from here. And Philadelphia is screening from a distance, whereas New York is still trying to close the range. 27 kilometers is way too far ahead. So taking fire from, I think, the light cruiser now. And from the battleship, so McDougal definitely has to get out of here. She's firing high explosive. Oh, one of those shells hitting McDougal, and that's a lot of firepower. One of those shells hitting McDougal, and she's done for. So definitely time to make ourselves scarce. And we will. Yeah, they're actually evading torpedoes now. I was kind of hoping that they would take the bait and follow. Alright, so that plan didn't work. She is actually disengaging, so we'll try to bait her with the Philadelphia then, and see if she will give battle, because New York is far off, 26.6 kilometers. But first, let's keep an eye on those torpedoes. And see if by any chance... No, she's already turned around. So the British sailors definitely know what they're doing. And they are not easily baited into dangerous positions. Okay, Philadelphia is starting to land a couple of hits. But I really don't want to be fighting this thing with Philadelphia. So what I want is for them to give chase. But the British are smarter than that. She's definitely just going to use her range advantage, and try to blow Philadelphia out of the water. So we're still trying very hard to get New York into range. New York's at 20 kilometers. I think about 10 kilometers is her effect. It's going to be her effective range. So. Well, we're just teasing them. They show no sign of trying to give chase, even with the light cruiser. Maybe they don't know that the Brooklyns don't have torpedoes. Okay, New York just opened up with her forward guns. So I think she is probably outclassed here, because that looks like a more modern battleship. But we'll give it a go. And she is already returning fire. We will give it a go, and we'll see if New York's 14-inch guns can land maybe some lucky hits. And we also do still have the McDougal and the Philadelphia. McDougal is almost reloaded on the torpedoes. So we'll try to get a bit closer while New York is opening up with the forward guns. And I think at this range, they're just going to be ranging shots. But I do need, New York does need to close in, because she has the shorter range of the two. And we'll use the cruisers, maybe the cruiser and the destroyer, maybe to land some shells on target and distract some fire away from the New York. That's really the only advantage we have, that we have a little numerical superiority. And we landed a 14-inch hit, actually. Well done, New York. First blood. Obviously, the Zealandia is completely unimpressed. But... and is returning fire, so we will have to see. What does that thing have? 15.3-inch main guns. Okay, so New York's actually firing high explosive at this point. Out of desperation, probably. And we are going to see if we can draw some fire away and get New York a bit closer to get the 14 inches into effective range. Okay, Philadelphia is now starting to draw fire. So we are going to try and... the Zealandia is definitely the bigger threat here. We are going to try and draw a bit of her fire away and give New York a chance to close in. We're still very far away. 13 kilometers is still well outside New York's effective firing range. That said, one should not underestimate the high explosive shells. Why are we firing armor piercing? Philadelphia, please fire high explosive. One should not underestimate the firepower of a Brooklyn class light cruiser. We just don't want to get too close. We'll have to time that salvo, and then we'll turn about and try to get outside of the firing angles. And yeah, that has missed. So now it's our time to turn hard to port and turn about. That is going to throw our aim off, but New York is going to close in ever so slowly. There goes a full salvo from the Philadelphia, and we are actually managing some penetrations on the superstructure with the high explosive shells. But Philadelphia is now burning as well, so let's open up the distance again. There come some torpedoes from the light cruiser. I think it was a light cruiser. Yeah, it's the same thing we've been fighting last time. These things have a lot of torpedoes on them. And no, I did not want to do that. I think McDougall, please fall in with Philadelphia. Yeah, that's better. And McDougall is now the one taking the fire here. Those torpedoes should be relatively harmless, but there comes a second set, so slight change of course. New York is starting to get the range on the Zealandia. And we are just disengaging here. Just getting away from the torpedo threat. And yes, the plan has worked in that we are drawing fire away, but obviously Philadelphia is now starting to take hits as well. So New York does need to get in there and get her guns on target. I'm going to retarget New York actually at the light cruiser, because the battleship is kind of sailing away. So maybe we have a better chance of reducing the screen here. Let's get the Philadelphia to turn around. Automatic selection of shells, and we'll see if we can get New York's 14 inchers on target against the light cruiser. I'm gonna risk it a bit and steer her slightly to starboard, while our cruisers are keeping the Adventure in check here. We'll see if New York can get all her guns on target. I think she'll be having a good chance now with the armor piercing, if she can land some hits. That should be New York 14 inch coming in. Come on. Yeah, 2 over penetrations, but that should have left some holes. Let's take a closer look if we can. Yeah, that looks nasty. Okay, New York is now drawing some fire, and we do have to again watch out with torpedoes here. So I'm gonna already get Philadelphia to turn, and again draw them, maybe draw the torpedoes onto the light forces, while New York is closing in, and we are landing increasing amount of hits on the Adventure. And more over penetrations from the New York. I mean, they are over penetrations, but they are causing floods because they make holes in the ships. So there comes the big one. Turn in, avoid the incoming fire. Who's she shooting at? Is she shooting at New York? I'm not sure. Serpentines. Philadelphia is going to struggle keeping her guns on target. And ooh. Okay, we'll complete the turn. And I think the adventure is done for. She is not looking great. She's burning. And I think she is flooding significantly. The light cruiser is more about dodging at the moment. But New York should be able to get all of her guns on target now. And despite the adventure being in smoke, I think the next salvo from the New York is going to be causing some serious damage if it can land. She looks pretty dead in the water now. Over penetrations from New York. And McDougal is now drawing the ire of the battleship. So I am going to actually detach the two of them and get McDougal to smoke up. And the same for the Philadelphia. And then we'll see if McDougal can get a bit of a run going while New York finishes off the escort and then goes after the battleship. Shots out at the adventure. Okay, I'm only seeing splashes at this point, but I think she is pretty dead in the water. So I think New York is in a good shape. McDougal has taken a hit here. Torpedoes incoming. Okay, hard turn, both Philadelphia and McDougal to evade. We know how dangerous these light cruisers are when they are dead in the water. So we'll do a simultaneous turn here. In fact, I think Philadelphia is going to be safer. Yeah, we need to turn Philadelphia away, but we also need to turn McDougal away. New York's shooting again. Torpedoes are not a threat for New York. And McDougal is going to be able to avoid these without too much trouble. I think we're going to start Philadelphia with high explosive on the Zealandia at this point. And the Adventure is sinking. Very good. So now that threat removed means that McDougal, while Philadelphia is kiting away, McDougal is going to go in for a torpedo run, while the New York is going to duel, and we're going to turn in slightly while we're getting shots on target here. And see if it looks like the Zealandia has lost her bridge. That's or her conning tower. That is going to cause a severe amount of trouble for them. And she is firing at the Philadelphia. Good. So New York can be broadside on. We get McDougal to make a run while she still has her smokescreen active. And New York. Please start firing armor piercing. 14-inch at this range should be able to penetrate that, especially that we're broadside on. The Zealandia is burning quite merrily here and is returning fire furiously at the McDougal at this point. So they have realized the threat coming. Oof! Ow! That I think is probably means that McDougal needs to disengage. I don't think we have a torpedo angle. I'm gonna fire them anyway because she's just lost. She's taken a high explosive shell to the bow and or to the center somewhere. She's lost both her engines. I want to drop the torpedoes anyway, and then McDougal is gonna get out of there. Okay, torpedoes away. McDougal retreat. I don't know if these torpedoes are going to hit. Most likely they're gonna hit the sinking wreck here. But we can turn the Philadelphia around, and New York is now coming into effective gun range. And the Zealandia suddenly doesn't look all that powerful anymore. Yeah, New York is hitting for effect now. And she's got she's still very much in the fight, but she's got a fair few fires burning. And I think so far New York has given better than she's taken. McDougal is out of torpedoes, is heavily damaged. Her engines are out of commission, so she's running on emergency power, which means while we are furiously spitting HE at this battleship from the Philadelphia, it's the New York that is doing the damage here, I think. Oh, that was a main belt penetration from the 14-inch shells from the New York. So I would say yes, we are very much in effective range for the 14-inchers at this point. And Philadelphia does need to be careful that she doesn't get too close. But she is destructing the enemy ship quite a bit. And New York's secondaries are even opening up now. And I think the Zealandia is done for. She is now getting torn apart by 6-inch high explosive and 14-inch armor-piercing shells. So she's listing extremely heavily. I think she's going down by the stern at this point. And she's no longer combat effective. Yep, she's sinking. So, well done. That was the USS New York, the oldest battleship in our fleet, with some excellent seamanship. We've managed to get the better of this British battleship. So I'm very pleased with that outcome.